Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I'm your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your midday market / closing bell report for Thursday, October 20th, 2022. 11 days left of this month already. I mean, where the hell has time gone? I guess the sports equinox tonight. That's what everyone's saying. You have playoff baseball, you have NFL football, you have the NBA, you have the NHL, and you even got some college football. So for sports wagerers, investors, gamblers, whatever word you guys want to use, it is one full day of action. ECSI VIPs. It's kind of comical. We got off the schneid. Yesterday, we went 1-1-1. We profited 0.20 of the units. Took a swing with the Yankees. Give up 4 solo homers. They lose 4-2 at a nice plus 164 price. Overnight number under over Denver at Utah was 217.5. I can't release that because you could not get those numbers. We took 225 miraculously. 122 to 103 lands on 225. So we get the push there. And here's the comical one. Blues team total over 3.5 plus 120. Blues scored 3 goals in the first. We're just waiting to cash this one. Under over in game at 8. Overtime 4-3 Blues. Thank you for getting us there. We get the win there. I'm going to vent for 2 seconds. And then I'm going to bring on my co-host Riley, Southside Riley here. It was brought to my attention by someone who I guess is in these lanes at the big G2E or whatever conference in Vegas, went up to a few people and says, man, this Jeff Dawson does a ton of content. And the person goes, yeah, he does. He goes, yeah, but they're all the same show. And this person just laughed. And you know something? When we started ECSI, January 1st, 2015, we were light years ahead of 99.9% of the people. And we were not the pioneers, but we knew sooner or later PASPA would pass. It did on 18. And then each state would become legal. And Massachusetts is now legal, one of the 32. We're just waiting to go live. But we had an idea to do 3 shows a day. The breakfast bankroll, which would bring you the overnight numbers, the review of what happened last night, and what the morning numbers are. So we'd see the overnight to the morning, and we'd recap what happened the night before. The midday market report was to take your morning numbers and then see where the market has shifted. And then the closing bell, again, would bring you to where we are today, to the window, to talk about where the numbers are and where we think that you should be getting ready to place your wagers. Now, our midday market report has now gone to a lot of guests. Our guests are experts in their field, their craft. I don't bring people in that are just fly-by-nights that are going through the motions. Andrew McGinnis, Wager Talk, absolute as sharp as hell when it comes to the NHL, the CFL. No one does CFL. Dan Alexander, Wager Talk, Premier Lacrosse. He does it with Bet on Lacrosse, Premier Lacrosse, and with us. Okay, we're bringing people sharp. Ron, okay, one of the OGs, an AOL account like myself that do hours and hours of endless research. Okay, Bernie Fratto, Fox Sports Radio, Dave Sharapan, the mayor of Las Vegas, the real Dave, Vegas Dave. Okay, Riley, my co-host, an absolute genius, young. I wish I was where he is. Okay, from the Windy City. Okay, Packers, Bulls. The list is endless. Guys, we are as unique as it comes. I don't have a 4-letter word called ESPN. Okay, that's for entertainment. Okay, we try to educate. We have a few ha-ha jokes and stuff, but we're here daily to educate. So if anyone has the audacity to say we're the same show every day, please email me, eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. Send me a direct message and let's talk. I find it comical. Anyways, let's bring in my co-host, the one and only Mr. Riley Magnuson. What is up, my brother?
What is up, my friend? Happy Thursday afternoon, Sports Equinox Day. Appreciate the kind words, first of all, as far as the last couple minutes that you gave there, because it's absolutely talking about sports on any given day is not the same every single day by whether it's the morning or afternoon. Just stuff changes so much just from that respect. But yeah, when you can bring in some of the people that you've brought in on these shows, I mean, you mentioned them right there. I mean, you had Ski Profit the other day, one of the best NBA minds that around right now as far as these gambling lanes. So, no, I echo everything that you say there. So I appreciate you for having me on these spaces as well, getting to talk Bulls, Packers. We'll wait on we're trying to get over the White Sox season right now, so I won't try not to mention those too much. But obviously, Big Ten football, Big Ten basketball, NFL, college football. I love it all. I'm trying to add as much to my plate as I can, but just trying to hone the craft where I've got the irons in. So again, I appreciate you as always. But it is Thursday, Sports Equinox Day today. Obviously, I'm not as much of an NHL guy, but I do enjoy watching hockey. So on a Sports Equinox Day, might have to get some action on just a little bit of every piece here. So I am ready to rock and roll, my friend. Wherever you'd like to, whether it's recapping anything from yesterday or getting right into it today, I'm ready to roll, my friend.
I have a birthday on November 9th. So when you were talking about your White Sox, either a birthday present or an early Christmas present, Xander Bogaerts. I need him re-signed. Now, here is the one caveat. Carlos Correa has already said he's opting out. So the Sox could play hardball. I know Correa's connected pretty good with Cora. He managed him or helped. It was a coach on the Astros team. So I think, unfortunately, Mr. Bloom will be sitting there saying, we're going to offer you this. If you don't like it, I think he's got a pivot play to Cora. Any thoughts on that? Correa, I mean.
No, Correa. First of all, I'd love to see him out of the AL Central as far as a White Sox fan perspective is concerned. But I'm with you. Obviously, the Red Sox fans have obviously been attached to Xander Bogaerts. I'm a massive fan as well. I'm a big Tim Anderson fan, but I wouldn't hate to throw the White Sox name into either of those names as well this upcoming off season as far as the shortstop position is concerned. So I don't have too much to add. Would you? Any possibility that they shift any of these guys over to a different position, or is that totally out of the question whatsoever?
Well, unfortunately, I thought that the signing of Trevor Story, because of analytics, Xander Bogaerts, due to the new analytics, is considered one of the worst defensive shortstops in the games. Kind of comical today. He is now a finalist for the Gold Glove at shortstop, by the way.
Right.
Secondly, his production is not comparable to a lot of the shortstops. And this year, in a contract year, he was playing hurt. So I really feel for this guy. He wants to stay here. He stopped contracts once the season started. He actually said in maybe the beginning to mid-May, hey, guys, let's come back. Let's get this done. I want it done and over with. And the Sox held firm there. So I know what I'm hearing, that during the year, if the Sox were going to make a move, St. Louis wants him desperately. Mm-hmm. And so for me, as a huge Xander fan, if he doesn't resign with us, if he lands at St. Louis, I'm okay with that because I'm a Cardinal fan as well. So I just think that the Sox with the Trevor Story move, and listen, when Trevor was healthy, he put up crazy numbers. He got on that hot run that he was just carrying them for a while. So it would be interesting if the Sox in the back of their mind said, well, we got Trevor signed. We could make a move for Correa. These guys nowadays will take those short deals, 2-3 year deals, if they have the opt-out, which Correa had in Minnesota. So there's a lot of moving pieces here, Riley.
Yeah, and I do feel confident that they're going to be a little aggressive as opposed to what they've done the last couple of years is kind of trending downward. Do you feel like they're going to be aggressive to get themselves back into, postseason baseball, or is this kind of a touchy situation and maybe they're, not going to be very aggressive and kind of accept, if they, having a great season with what they've got, then, great. But I don't know. Do you expect them to be aggressive to get back to October?
They had a couple years where they were first last. Last
Right.
year they had the magical run. They were back to last. Now they were kind of that formula of Tampa East again. Now they got the management there from
Hmm.
the Tampa. I don't think they will go full blown that way. They have some good pieces in place. Don't forget, once this fiasco is over, the following year we got to go through the same thing with Devers. Now, Judge goes to the market. They've hinted that they're going to be in on that. Listen, I think Judge is. It's a great story. I don't need an Albert Pujols part two here. He bet on himself. He won. If he wants a 6-7 year deal, God bless him. Listen, if the Sox wanted to pay him $45 million a year for 4 years and give him a 180, I'm okay with that. I'm not paying this guy 6-7 years though.
No, I'm with you. I mean, yeah, the Albert Pujols contract is the one to look at, and even just the last few years, teams have been reluctant to sign guys that are, kind of, but it might not even feel like it, but basically kind of approaching the back half of their career if you put it even into, a 15-year perspective, right? And so, no, I think there's going to be a lot of teams. I don't know. I think he might just be trying to play some leverage and boosting up his contract, numbers there in New York. That would be my speculation, but I have no idea. Again, because the Red Sox obviously have been the hot name as far as who would be there. But maybe it's a little optimistic, but the White Sox and teams such as that have also been, pining for, the rumors to get our name circulated in those rumors. So I don't think that would be very realistic, but it's at least good fodder. So I'll predict that he stays there. But no, obviously the Red Sox are, candidate number one to scoop him.
Okay, so yesterday during our show, I told you that. Oh, you're there? Okay,
Yep, sorry.
okay. Yesterday during our show live, I told you to dive into the Padres live game.
Hmm.
Uh, you got your 2-1 ticket there. They hold on and they win, and then the Yankees, Verlander. I'm telling you, I'm just from the eye test. I know he had 11 Ks. He's not Cy Verlander in my eyes. I'm be curious to see his next outing. We always talk about regression, but 4 solo homers. Go back to game one with the Phillies. 2 solo homers, 2-0. Thanks for playing. Astros last night. 4 solo homers, 4-2. Thanks for playing. It's the one mistake, and these teams are capitalizing on it. Today, as we speak, let me pull that up. Where are we here? Baseball. Yeah, Astros minus 135. Let me go over to CIRCA. 138 at CIRCA. Yankees plus 126 and under over of a flat 7. What are you thinking?
You know what? I don't have too strong thoughts, but I don't know. I like a bounce back spot here for sure as far as the Yankees in this case, kind of as you're saying. Where obviously the Phillies offense came out strong yesterday, but if you looked at it inning closer, if Juan Soto doesn't have sun in his eyes, I don't think the Phillies are putting up 4 runs in game number 2 there in San Diego. So I kind of, as you're saying with that, I could see this Yankees offense having some success tonight. Luis Severino for them. I don't know quite what to expect for his case. He's been solid for him, obviously the last couple of weeks. So and obviously you're hoping for that, but I'll lean towards the Yankees. But it's not too strong thoughts. It would not shock me if we've got a 3-2, 4-3 Astros lead here by any means. But I'm going to lean towards the Yankees here in this one. What about you?
I put a tweet out there from TikTok. Mac is set up to win, Mattress Mac,
Yeah.
$70 million. Which again, what could go wrong?
Right.
I mean, listen, I know the Astros. I was watching Sports Grid earlier today. Both you can get either the Phillies or the Padres right now plus 375 today to win the World Series. Okay, so just they're telling you right now that if the Astros win, which currently they're pretty big favorites to,
Right.
that you are going to get a minimum. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the Astros probably open up minus 250. How's that sound?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, that doesn't sound. Yeah, I think you're probably well within your right to say that. I mean, they would have. I guess assuming it's the Phillies, they've got the back end pitching edge that you always talk about. Obviously, maybe you expect the Phillies offense by that point to regress a little bit from what they've had the last 2 weeks. So, or obviously it's the Padres. I think the Astros probably outmatch them as well. So I don't know. I'll say 225 is going to be my guess if it's the Astros.
Okay, I'm playing a little cat and mouse here. We're jumping all around here. The board is, I mean, we got a million directions to go here. I talked about this on the show yesterday. I can tell you the Phillies opened up minus 110 overnight. It was an immediate flip currently for tomorrow, which we'll get into tomorrow. But
Sure.
San Diego minus 113. At Circa right now, minus 109. You can get the Phillies minus 101. Suarez versus Musgrove. It's a 2-3-2 series. Now, with that said, I said yesterday, I'm saying right now, I have to give the edge to San Diego with the pitching matchup, Musgrove versus Suarez. Suarez has surprised me. Musgrove has shown flashes. He's a bulldog. The key to this though is that park in Philly. That place has been so damn electric.
Right, and if it gets going, again, it's every single ballpark. If it doesn't get going and the Phillies' offense is stagnant and it's a 3-0 deficit in the sixth inning, then obviously it's going to take something to get them going. But I don't know. Do you expect any? We were kind of talking positively. Obviously, during the show, the Padres were losing that game, so we were, kind of hypothetically talking if they're down 2-0. Now it's 1-1. Joe Musgrove's, like you said, he's been fantastic the last couple of weeks. Do you expect some regression, or do you feel like he's going to, at least for one more start, put another dynamite start like we've seen the last couple here?
I'm expecting Musgrove to be good. Now, you know what scares me? I'll tell you what scares me is the lefty bats, Schwarber, Harper. These guys get a guy on base. They get the 2-run homer. The crowd goes wild. I mean, they got 2 solo homers in game 1. They were held at bay. I mean, they got the 4-0 lead. Like you said, the Sun and Soto, that helped them out. The crowd, if Musgrove is not as sharp, they put up that crooked number early. I'm almost trying to figure this out because in my head, I would say Padres should win or are expected to win. Short favorites, they get the 2-1 lead. You know how big that is? They're guaranteed to get back home at worst down 3-2
Right.
for game 6 and 7.
Yeah, there's going to be some urgent. We'll get there tomorrow. If we're talking about it tomorrow, depending on what shows we get going on tomorrow, we'll get there. Obviously, what time is that game tomorrow? It's an evening game. Okay, wasn't sure if it was an afternoon game there or not, but I don't know. I don't know. I haven't had a ton of success predicting the pitcher regression, but I don't know. I'll go out on a limb and say some Musgrove regression against the Phillies tomorrow, but I could have some serious egg on my face. I don't have anything on locked in by any means yet.
All right. Might as well just go and get this over with. There is an NFL game tonight. The return of D-Hop. Marquise Brown out with a walking boot. Robbie Anderson, I guess, is scheduled to start. On the other side, I don't have actually, let me see if I can move in here. All right. For the Saints, Dalton active, Winston active, Turf Toe Thomas out, Landry out, Lattimore out. And initial thoughts. I mean, I'm going to just say this. I was saving this for our potential guest. I don't know if he's showing up. Chris Andrews, good friend of the show. One of the masters behind the desk at the South Point. He said something last week that I need everyone to listen and listen hard here. The line's 2.5. You take the 2.5. When the line is 3.5, you lay the 3.5. And it's powerful when I think about it because the mindset, Cardinals, I'll use the Cardinals tonight, minus 2.5 at home. What's the mindset? Home team, they just got to win by a field goal. I'm taking the favorite. When the favorite is 3.5, you're saying, I'm going to take the dog. If they lose, they only going to lose by 3 or less. You got a banged up Saint team, an Arizona team at home on a short week. D-Hop's got his new shiny toy back. Initial thoughts.
I, for the most part, am 100% agreeing with you. I typically subscribe to that. Not saying I am or am not tonight. I haven't made up my mind, if I'm being totally honest with you, on this game. I'm leaning towards the Saints, though, kind of as you're talking here. I am leaning towards the Saints. It's no secret that the Cardinals are more efficient with DeAndre Hopkins, but I expect them to. But I find it hard to believe that all of the problems that we've seen over the last 6 weeks are just going to be snap their fingers and they're going to be fine because DeAndre Hopkins is back. They've been so inefficient and so inconsistent offensively, and this Saints defense, if they have the right game plan, they'll smack them in the mouth defensively. So maybe team total under for the Cardinals is what I'm interested in. I've had that kind of feeling with the Saints before, where I'm buying into the Saints defense, having a ton of success, and then the next thing you know, Jameis Winston's throwing 3 picks or whoever it is, and I've got egg in my face, and their defense was fantastic. So, not sure what those numbers are off the top of my head. I'll have to pull those up here for us. 23.5 for the Cardinals, but not the strongest thoughts here by any means. The narratives have been kind of running rampant on this one. The Call of Duty narrative, as far as Kyler Murray, whenever Call of Duty is released, early release happened today. I kind of find it hard to believe that he's going to be affected by that today. I imagine as soon as this game's going, he's going to be in his cave for the next 3 days playing the new Call of Duty as far. So I'm kind of calling BS on that tonight for the most part here. But he hasn't been very good in his Thursday night. I think it's 0-3. Record. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think he's got any wins as far as Thursday night career. So I'm worried about this Cardinals offense the most. I don't know what to expect from the Saints offense. I think that's the biggest hesitation here, but I like the Saints defense matchup against Arizona's offense here tonight. But again, not the strongest thoughts for me.
And I agree with everything you said. I want to make sure of one thing here. Let me see here. Come on, guys.
Limit increase.
And before you go, it's another one where the over-under is 43.5 or right around there, where I don't know. A lot of people probably assume it's going way under, especially the way these games have been going. Obviously, people talking negatively about Kyler Murray and that offense. So I don't know. It seems like that should be the easy play, but I'm not sold on that as well here. But I guess I don't know on that one.
Olavi is probable, so I was just double checking on
Okay.
that. So James Conner is questionable. That's probably an out. Ingram questionable. Benjamin a questionable. Holy shit! I mean, this is the mash unit. When are they going to learn that these Thursday nights they just don't get it? But with Amazon paying them $1 billion, they don't care. So,
Right.
All right, let's move over to 2 college games. Virginia at Georgia Tech, how the mighty have fallen. Can you ever imagine, after my early season rants about how bad Georgia Tech is, they fire the coach? Georgia Tech is a 3-point favorite.
I can't believe it, and especially from what we saw from flashes of Virginia last year, and they still, it's not like they've had a ton of turnover on that team, so it is really surprising to see this, what we've got here. I'm trying to pull it up real quick as I'm talking here, but I saw at one point, it's hanging right at 3? I saw it jump up to -3.5 at one point today on one of these books. So I don't have the strongest thoughts. I haven't been watching these two teams closely. Virginia has been a disaster, losing to Louisville, Duke, hung in with Syracuse, lost to Illinois. That one looked worse at the time, but doesn't look quite as bad now, obviously, with the way Illinois has defensively looked the last few weeks. But I don't know. I guess, do you ride the hot hand with Georgia Tech? The way they've been playing, was able to handle Duke, but any weather factor in this one? I guess I haven't checked. Looks like small wind, clear, nothing crazy there. 50s should be fine. So I guess I'll lean towards Georgia Tech, but I don't have the strongest thoughts here, Jeff.
And it's funny because you'll wake up at the end of the game or you wake up in the morning and there's certain spots where teams just look their favorite, and then you take them as – listen, there's certain teams that are great as dogs. We get that part of it. But when you see a team like Tech that's already fired its coach that could not get a first down, never mind a win, now they're favored, that just shows how bad Virginia – I mean, you got 2 teams going like this now. I mean, it's not even close.
If this was at Virginia, maybe I'd feel confident that they could have some pride at home for them there. But I don't know. Do you have strong thoughts either way, or is it a severe lean on your end?
I think it's – I'll give you my play on this game. And you know I'm a numbers guy, okay? They give you Virginia team total 21 over 125, which you can flip a coin either which way. That's a lot of juice to spend.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech team total 24 and a hook under -130. The play for me here is Georgia Tech team total over 24 and a half plus the 110.
Okay. No, I got it. I'm with you on that one. DraftKings, I see 23.5 but minus 130. So making it, yeah, not quite the same as far as the plus money there. So I can see it for sure. I mean, this Virginia defense has been maybe not as exposed as you would expect them to. They just haven't faced the best offenses, still putting up or still allowing over 30 points in each of the last two games. So yeah, I have got no interest in Virginia as far as their offense is concerned. That I can tell you for sure, my friend.
Troy and South Alabama, again, another three with a 47.5 team totals right now. Again, South Alabama, 24 and a hook under minus 120. Troy at 21.5 minus the 110. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I know the South Alabama team has played pretty good this year.
Yeah.
They've had their spots. Troy traditionally has been okay. I have zero thoughts or feelings on this game.
No, if you saw my tweet, I quadruple take this morning because I use the Action Network to track some stuff. The home stadium for this is called Hancock something Stadium. My alma mater, Illinois State, is named Hancock Stadium. They've got the home stadium here on Action Network listed as Hancock Stadium, Normal, Illinois. So I quadruple take, thinking this was some goofy neutral site game at my alma mater, and I was like, oh, well, I gotta find some action, and then obviously I find out it's a typo on Action Network's part. So I was losing it this morning, hoping that we'd see some Illinois State stadium action going on. But nonetheless, I don't have the stronger thoughts at the end of the day. 5-1 for South Alabama. Their one loss was a 1-point loss as 15-point dogs to UCLA. Seems like you should be buying. I don't know, on without watching much of these teams. You would feel confidence in backing a team that almost beat a good UCLA team, could be 6-0. So maybe that's what they want you to think. I don't know. So I'm going to stay out of it, but I guess I'll take a lean as far as South Alabama is concerned.
And that's where I would be too. So that probably means Troy wins outright. So
Yeah, right.
we'll leave it there. NBA today, two games, four marquee teams. I was, as we were doing the show live on Sports Grid last night, I had the Yankees on one game and obviously the Phoenix. Last night. Yeah, Phoenix and Dallas. Dallas gets out by 30, 25, whatever, like they did last year in the playoffs. Luka couldn't miss. Typical NBA. Phoenix wears them down in the second half. Win, but don't cover. Lakers opening night against the Warriors. I mean, it's just the same old shit show. Now they both play in the same stadium. And actually, let me go to the Bucks and Sixers here. Philly lambasted. Basically 62-62 at half against the Celtics. Celtics blow them out in the second half. The Bucks are, I think, a lot of sharp people's team to come out of the East. Yet they give you the Jedi mind tricks. That's what I'm going to say. Jedi mind tricks. Philly -4, 224 and a half, 224 consensus under over. Initial shot thoughts there.
I'm kind of with you. You feel like it's the Jedi. I've just honestly, for the most part, I don't get too involved in these opening week games because I've had a lot of times where I try to play into those as far as it seems way too good to be true for the Bucks, and then the next thing you know, kind of like we were talking about the Nets, the other day, we're gonna be waking up tomorrow morning talking about what's wrong with the damn 76ers. So, not saying that's happening. I guess my lean would be buying into that as far as taking laying the floor with the Sixers, but I don't know. You didn't like what you saw. Obviously, it was close at half. Maybe you buy into saying the Celtics are haven't missed a beat. I don't know. I feel like the Bucks are going to come out firing as well. So I'm staying far out of it here as far as this one tonight. But I guess I'll say another. I don't know, because Harden was fantastic in the first half, or I guess and the box score fantastic. You would be the judge if he was actually fantastic or not. But maybe you buy into a more heavily run offense through Joel Embiid tonight, and he's dominant. I don't know. Maybe you take his over and call it a day. But I'm gonna sit this one out as far as these two teams here tonight.
Clippers Lakers opened at 5. It's 5.5 again. First week, public remembers what they saw last. Under over opened at 224. Now 225.5. I do see a 226 in one spot. You know what? You would expect to bounce back from the Lakers. It was a bad spot for them against Golden State. ring ceremony. They just got run out of the building. I mean, it
Right.
is what it is there. Now you got the Clippers, where a lot of people in the preseason leading up to the start of the season, that was their quiet hush hush. That's the team to come out of the West this year. As you and I both have said, and you talked about it again this week, when you got to, and Julian especially, you got to bank on the health and the load management of Kawhi and Paul George. You need the
Right.
perfect storm for them. Yes, their bench, they're long. I mean, they go 8, 9, 10 deep. I get all that. 5.5 point favorites against the Lakers tonight.
And not to mention that I see a report today that I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but the Clippers are, because he hasn't played a ton of basketball, considering working Kawhi into the lineup coming off of the bench. And I don't know if that's going to be what we see tonight, but no, I don't know. I think you buy into maybe the Lakers having a nice bounce back. They did show flashes at certain points in that game, had a huge comeback from getting completely embarrassed to only kind of embarrassed. So I don't know. I think there's some ways that the Lakers can have a nice night here tonight. Patrick Beverley has had a ton of success in these matchups. Obviously on the other side of the town as far as the Clippers' success there. But I don't know. I think the Lakers are. Going to be they're not going to enjoy being embarrassed on a nightly basis, and I think they're going to be looking to prove something tonight. Again, this is obviously another team where we could be waking up tomorrow and laughing and talking a lot of BS about the Lakers. So I'm not overly excited of getting involved, but I'll take a swing and say I'll lean towards the Lakers covering and maybe even winning this one outright. But don't hold me to it.
Now, for me, the Thursday night games always seem to be right on the number. They just, it's almost like I'm going to use the word scripted. They're not, the games are not fixed. They're not rigged. Listen, perfect example again. Yesterday, I talked about the Denver Utah total 217.5 the night before. We take a snapshot. We know what we saw. I talk about the corrected number. It went to 224.5 and went to 225. A 48-minute basketball game, missed free throws, 3-pointers, up, down, you missed layups, lands on 225. And
Right.
late 80s, early 90s, I was in the business. And we know the corrupt business that it was back then, and there's still people doing it both sides. But what got me and the juices flowing, I want to know how they do it. I know it's algorithms. I know it's based on probability, yada, yada, yada. But to just think about it, they landed right on the number. And it wasn't like it was a 122 to 103. It wasn't like this
Right.
close game. How do they do it?
I don't know, and to go back to our thoughts yesterday, as far as maybe plug your nose and take the Jazz. Colin Sexton and the Jazz win that one outright, but no, I don't know. Especially these totals for the NBA, it can be head scratching sometimes. So I don't know how to answer that for you. I mean, to go back to yesterday, as far as some of these games, you had the Pistons and Magic 3.5. That one lands exactly on 4 as well. I was involved. Which, by the way, if you didn't watch it, it was the most exciting and most entertaining game of the entire 12-game slate or whatever it was. There's like 5-6 dudes combined on those two teams that could win Rookie of the Year or Most Improved. I was a pig and you know what watching that game last night. That was a blast to watch, man. And Paolo Banchero looked absolutely fantastic. And Jaden Ivey looked good himself, but after watching that one, of course it's only one night, and these other rookies will get better. I mean, Ben Mathurin in Indiana also had a nice night, but if Paolo Banchero is playing like that, there's no way he's not winning Rookie of the Year if he stays healthy, especially because he's on a team with a bunch of other guys who I think are going to be really fun and really competitive, but his other the other guys that he's sharing the ball with are also in their low 20s. So it's not like he has, if he was in Chicago with DeRozan or Levine, he'd have to defect to them a little bit. But he might be the guy on a nightly basis. So the odds have already dropped a little bit. He's under 2-1. But I'd be hard-pressed to imagine he's not winning Rookie of the Year if he stays healthy. So Jaden Ivey, on the same token, looked really good. Kate Cunningham, as far as year 2, looked really solid last night. So I'm going to be watching both of them a ton last night. And as far as another team that finally got on the opening night win column, I wasn't too confident, but I don't know. That was maybe a little more about the Heat, and obviously a nice offensive night from the second half, third quarter from DeRozan and the Bulls. But Bam Adebayo, I don't know. Something didn't sit right with his body language last night. He didn't show up to play last night. I saw a lot of people taken his point total over. It was like 2.5 points under his average from last year, yet it was a 2.5 points lower, and against a team that he has historically, or against Vucevic, he has absolutely dominated. I think I mentioned it on yesterday's show. So that one was a clear case of too good to be true as far as his production. It was a massive reason why the Bulls hung in the game and won. So I was feeling good about the Bulls getting the win last night, but plenty to take away from yesterday. It was a fun night of basketball. So I'm assuming we've got a big slate again tomorrow after two games tonight. So I will be excited to watch some more basketball this week.
Well, I was going to circle the wagons. I talked about the sizzle and the steak. I guess the steak is the Pelicans and the sizzle is the Nets. I mean, box to wire, just absolutely steamrolled. Now the Nets do make a late run, but obviously wasn't enough there. Do some recap. What'd you think about
Yeah.
overall what you saw last night? I mean, there were some games. I talked about the Knicks plus the 4 that goes to overtime, landed on 3. The eyes were pretty good. Again, I just played that one NBA and we pushed on that. But what'd you see on the court and based upon some numbers and stuff? What you liked and what you disliked?
Yeah, so I guess we'll move on from what I already mentioned. Washington, Indiana was the one game I didn't get to, or one of the 2 or 3 games I didn't watch much of. Washington, I see wins that one. I didn't get to get a feel for that one at all. But I know Ben Mathurin had a nice night, 17 points, I think, off. I don't know if he was starting or off the bench, honestly. I'll have to go back and look at that. But you mentioned New York and Memphis. I caught the end of that one. John Morant, obviously a lot of highlight reel plays. I didn't see what looked like throughout the entire game. I was watching a few others during that span. Zion Williamson looked really, really good and made Ben Simmons look pretty damn. I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is, but definitely did not leave him with any more positive public perception of him as far as that night, last night's game is concerned. You and Ski Prophet were talking about Cleveland, Toronto. That game lands right around where the line was as far as that one. I think both those teams are going to be pretty good. Let's see. Houston and Atlanta, I didn't watch much, but it looked like DeJounte Murray and Trae Young together looked really solid on night one. So any growing pains, maybe it's coming the next couple of times or next couple of games, but they look pretty damn solid. And for what you want to say about Houston, they're at least building a nice core of young players. So I don't think they're going to be, as long as they're not, full tank mode from their front offense, I think they might be more competitive at least the last couple of years. Let's see. Colin Sexton with the Jazz over the Nuggets. I mean, I think the Jazz are going to be trying to do the full tank mode for sure, but it might take a few tricks up the front office, Danny Ainge's sleeve, to make that happen because Colin Sexton does not appear to be buying into the whole Tankapalooza fest that's going to be coming this year. That guy's motivated. Seems pumped to be able to kind of single-handedly lead a team here. I don't expect them to win that many games, but against a team in the Nuggets who had a ton of expectations coming into this season, I think they'll be fine. But but they weren't able to roll out the ball and dominate a bad team on night one, so that was pretty apparent there. And then Portland was the you mentioned a little bit Dallas and Phoenix. Portland, I watched a little bit. That was one team that I had for my season overs, 39.5, I think it was. Damian Lillard wasn't even fantastic. I think, I don't remember what his shooting was, 20 points though. But I talked about in my blog that I wrote about, they either have progressed or added other scorers that at the very worst, if you've got a team opposing them that can't really guard these wings and guards, they have a few options that can really hurt you. They added Jeremy Grant, who over the last 2 years became a 20-point scorer over Detroit the last couple of years. Josh Hart they got midseason. He's about a 15-point per game scorer. And Anthony Simons in Lillard's absence last year elevated into a 17-point per game scorer. So together those numbers will probably go down a little bit. But you know what I'm saying, where they've got 3-4 options behind Damian Lillard as opposed to what they formerly had. So not saying they're a dark horse out of the West necessarily, but they will at least be a fun team to watch. And as long as their opposing team isn't top 10 defensive team, especially on the perimeter and their wings, they're going to have a lot of success. So I think they're going to be a team to watch going forward. I was kind of surprised they were dogs. Tough matchup for the Kings, I think, those two teams this year. But interested to see what Sacramento's got going forward. You and I talked to a lot of people are interested in them. I wasn't as high on them, but it wouldn't surprise me if they kind of went. I don't know what the word to say is. They seem like they're trying to at least stay relevant as opposed to completely tanking. So maybe they make some move to at least try and be competitive this year. I don't know, but Yeah, it was a fun night of basketball. So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of talent that's kind of being trickled down through this league, as opposed to the top 10, 20 stars. So there's plenty of guys worth watching on a nightly basis in the NBA right now. So it was a hell of a time last night for me. I love watching the NBA. So. Yeah. Anything else to add as far as any of these games? Again, I can't talk enough about how fun Orlando and Detroit was over there.
No, and it's just amazing. I'm not saying it's a change into the guard. Like, I'll piggyback back towards the NFL. I bring up Sunday at 1:00. The two old men, Tom Brady, Rogers. They just listen. At some point, Father Time has to catch up to Tom. I know he's got some personal issues. I understand the team. He's missing Gronk, even just in the locker room itself. Is his humor and stuff. He's not happy. I'm not saying he doesn't want to be there, but he's got a lot on his plate. Your guy Aaron Rodgers, again, not comfortable with the wide receivers. That circle of trust. You would have thought they would have been motivated. You could see right away it was the Jets that came in hungry and motivated. Now you look at the NBA, LeBron in his 20th year, AD such a big part of that. Westbrook, they know it. They know he's not a fit there, but they want to get some kind of value. The value is the fact that someone's going to take on his salary, and next year they're going to be sitting pretty in the salary cap. Okay. But the kids that are in there right now, and as you said, the Tankapalooza for Wembayamba or whatever his name is, it's exciting times in the NBA.
Right, and I think the talent is just, it's undeniable that it's deeper. I mean, you have a guy, to use my Bulls as an example, a second-round pick in Ayo Dosunmu out of Illinois come in and make an immediate impact last year. Now he's open because of injury, obviously, opening night starter, and he's trying to pick Andre Drummond off the floor last night. As far as the issues that was going on the floor last night, but there's just so much talent, and honestly, there's obviously a lot of parity. So these teams that are in the middle that feel like if they're progressing, they're not gonna feel like it was 5-6 years ago, where you have a team that's winning 45 games, but you're staring up at the Warriors and Cavs. It's not quite that. There's no juggernauts like that in the NBA right now. So these teams like Memphis, as opposed to 10 years ago, maybe in their hearts they felt like they have a chance, actually have an outside chance of making some waves and contending for a championship. So that's another reason why this has become so fun. And obviously, say what you want about the play-in game, but it at least gives the middle of the pack and some of these smaller market teams something to play for. So that's kind of what with Orlando and Detroit, I expect them to be really competitive this year, as opposed to maybe tanking like they would have in the past year. So, exciting times. There's so many fun players right now in the NBA in almost every location. I mean, even some of the drama-filled locations, there's at least fun players to watch on a nightly basis, whether or not you love the drama or not. There's really not a ton of spots where there's zero talent to watch. Everyone's trashing about the Jazz, or trashing on the Jazz, but you watch the game, and Colin Sexton's one of the more entertaining players of the night last night. So it's as exciting as a time as I've had in the NBA, just from a broad perspective. Obviously, I'd love my Bulls to be at the forefront of the conversation, but from a broad perspective, I am as excited to watch this season as I have in my in the last 20 years here.
I just pulled up the schedule for tomorrow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games. Your Bulls travel to Washington. Raptors. Yes. Raptors at Brooklyn. Brooklyn, 2.5-point favorites there. Boston travels to Miami. Celtics, 2.5-point favorites at Miami. The Magic at Atlanta. Atlanta 8.5. Memphis at Houston. Right now, Memphis -5. The Jazz at Minnesota. Minnesota 8.5, 9. Again, Vegas is not going to get caught with their pants down. They're going to keep posting high numbers with Utah, and sooner or later, obviously, they'll start to lose. Nuggets at Golden State. Here's a stinky number. Golden State only -5 there. And Suns travel to Portland. The late game, Phoenix -4 at Portland.
Interesting. I'll be interested to see what the stuff is moving tomorrow, because you always talk about the Friday Pizza Man stuff. You and I talking NBA on Fridays. That's as far as for me personally, sports that I have on that Friday night. The NBA the last couple of years on these Friday nights has been fantastic for me. We'll see if it gets going tomorrow on the first Friday or not. But going into the middle of the season, I can't wait for our Friday Fade the Public Friday in the NBA this year, my friend.
And we got the Phillies Padres at 7:37. So tomorrow morning, we're going to pencil it in for 11 my time, 10 your time. We're going to do the Big Ten review. 12:30 my time. Zaid Hussein comes on with the UFC card, and then you and I will do a close. Actually, tomorrow afternoon we're going to hold off on confirming a closing bell. My daughter decided to stay at UConn. I got 2 tickets for UConn BU hockey in Boston tomorrow night. My other daughter will be sitting in the team section. That she knows some of the players, so she's got the yuppie UConn tickets from the team there. So I am 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I am kind of exhausted, so I'll probably stay back and just enjoy my surroundings. But with that said, and the Equinox, closing thoughts, a prop, a homer total, any NBA props? Is there anything? I mean, you can pull it up right now. I'm going to try to take it all in myself. Severino, Alvarez.
Let's see. Man, I was gonna pull up the home run props. 350 is the best or the shortest odds that we've got here. Alvarez and Judge at 350. Stanton, he's got some nice numbers against Valdez, but he's 5-1. That's a little stinky there. So I'll avoid the home run market there for that baseball game. Let's see. I think I had a touchdown score, but are we sure that this game isn't going to be as stinky offensively as the last 2 games? Are we sure that it won't be a 9-8 stink fest with 4 safeties or something like that? Are we positive that we'll see some offense tonight?
I thought we were going to on Monday and we didn't. So I'm gonna start with, I'll go in the NFL game. I'm gonna go chalk. It's probably, I don't know, maybe plus 135. What's an anytime from Kamara tonight?
110, I see.
I'll eat the chalk. I'm not a chalk guy. I'm gonna go on New Orleans with Kamara on that side. In Arizona, I'm gonna throw everyone a curveball here, and it's got to be a big number. I know D Hop's back. I know they just brought in Robbie Anderson. I'm assuming Rondell Moore is healthy. I'm going to go off the board. This is going to be a big number. What's Mr. Dortch tonight?
16-1, Mr. Greg Dortch, 16-1.
There's your pizza and beer money. I'm going Dortch on the Arizona side.
Okay. This is very tricky, and I don't know that I will do it because you have egg on your face whenever he's not used. Taysom Hill is plus 180. I don't know. Maybe this is a Taysom Hill game. I don't know. But plus 180 on Taysom Hill. Maybe I take a swing at Taysom Hill, and this is a nasty Taysom Hill. I don't know. I'm not going to predict whether it's rushing or receiving or whatever the hell it is. But I don't know. Maybe Taysom Hill on that side, and I'll say Zach Ertz on the Arizona side. How about that?
All right. MLB home run prop. Lefty, righty. I mean, I know it's. What'd you say on the Judge?
Judge and Alvarez 350.
All right, I'll eat chalk again. I don't do this. I'll take both. If one hits on pizza and beer money, you're profiting.
Taking the top 2? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I can go with that. I'll say Rizzo. I'll say Anthony Rizzo. I think he could be due for one. I don't know. I don't love any of these numbers, but I'll say Rizzo over here.
And then in the NBA tonight, let's go. Actually, and this is pure chalk sandwich. This was a gimme back in the day. He had an amazing run. What's Embiid's team points total? 26 and a hook?
Let's see. Where did I pull it here? Embiid is 27 and a hook.
It was 26 and a hook. What's Middleton?
Middleton's out.
Middleton's out. Okay.
Start of the season, yeah.
Harden.
You know what? Harden is 22 and a half. I'm a big fan of Tyrese Maxey. He's 18 and a half. He was up over 20 the other game. Maybe Tyrese Maxey. How about that?
I'm going to double down on Maxi.
Let's see, 18 and a half. I'm trying to see what is only plus 106 on 20 plus, so that's no good. Yeah, minus 112 on the 18 and a half. I like that one a little bit there. I'm trying to see Giannis 31 and a half. No, thank you. I don't know. If he's going over 31 and a half, then maybe I'm interested in the Bucks to win that damn game. So, let's see. I'll give you one out of the Clippers and Lakers. Let's see. Kawhi only 17 and a half. No, thank you. Paul George 24 and a half. LeBron 28 and a half. Let me go Anthony Davis over 24 and a half. I can't remember what he had the other night, but I'll go with Anthony Davis tonight out of the Lakers and Clippers game to go at least 25. How about that?
I agree. Okay. And your closing thoughts?
Nothing crazy. I'm gearing up for the weekend. I've gotten, I've had some nice success the last few days. But kind of as I've echoed so far, don't go too crazy on the NBA yet. It is an easy way to get you into a nice big fat hole, especially whether it's player props or these games. I mean, I think one thing that, as far as player props, I guess just a PSA in general, and I every once in a while fall victim to it myself, but people need to realize when you have a giant point spread or there's a game where you reasonably expect there to be a massive blowout, you probably shouldn't be taking let's say it's the Warriors minus 12 over the Rockets. Maybe don't take Steph Curry to go over 29 and a half points because they might be up by 30 after the third quarter. And as good as he is through three quarters, he might not play that entire game. So I see too many people complaining about their stars scorching hot, and then come the fourth quarter when their team's up or down by 30, they are not in the game. So I think that is my PSA. Make sure you can reasonably expect it to be a close game. Obviously, you can't always expect that, but sometimes when it's a 15, 12, whatever it is spread, maybe stay away from the old overs on the stars in that game. That's what I would say. Now, I don't know that we'll have that tonight, but I see too many people complaining about that on a daily basis in the NBA here, Jeff.
I have to agree again. The hardest part in our business is, again, when all the sports come together. So we're at 6-7 weeks in the NFL and college football. You've had plenty of time to let that simmer. We just started NHL a few weeks ago, 10 days ago, however long it is, a week ago probably. And the NBA just tips up. So I talk about the kid in the candy store. It just overwhelms you with the smartphones. That's your Bellagio right here, or wherever your favorite casino is. Whatever sports you watch on TV, it's everywhere. So you get consumed. You have a couple losing days and you see this huge menu going on and you're like, oh shit, well, I can get it back tonight. And then you dive into these games. You get into the live numbers and then you get into the prop market. And next thing you know, it's Thursday and you're down 9.5 units. You only got $150 left on your credit limit and you're sunk. You can't get it back. So, you just have to take it day by day, day by day. I mean, the ECSI VIPs, I can't be any more transparent. I'm usually a quality over quantity guy. We have so many sports going on. I got the spaghetti strainer going like this. We start a Monday 0-3. All right, you put your pants on. On Tuesday, we should have been 3-0. We went 0-3. So we started the week 0-6. I can't lie. I started the week 0-6. It happens. It happens. And then so yesterday, we take a nice dog with the Yankees. Thanks for playing. So now we're at 0-7. Now I'm like, oh my God. And people are texting me. One guy's like, oh my God. I'm like, dude. He goes, how is this? I'm like, you've only been with us a couple months. I got guys that have been with me 7.5 years. It's a process.
Right.
Every game is the same, whether we're 7-0 or 0-7. Then we're the numbers said we were going to easily get the over in the NBA game. It pushes. So now it's not a loss. I'm like, it is what it is. And then the Blues, 3-0 after one. I'm just like, when are we going to cash this one? It took overtime.
Right.
So my point, 1-1-1, we profited. We stopped the bleeding. There's 10,000 things to wager on today. You got to take a step back. I always talk about that ammonia bottle. If you don't have one, get one and put it in your bathroom or under your kitchen sink. Whenever the head starts going crazy, go to that bottle, take a big whiff, breathe, decompress, and reset. That's all.
Right. And the more you, I had one of my 2 or 3 plays last night was the Magic plus the 3, and they're down by 1 with 11 seconds left, and the Pistons hit a corner 3 to go up by 4, and then the Magic have a buzzer beater chance to cover for a meaningless game losing buzzer beater, but I would have lost my, jumped out of my seat. But you win some, you lose some as far as those types of swings are concerned, whether if you're doing it enough in these lanes. So yeah, it was one where I enjoyed having an awesome game to watch, and know that I will get. I can think of at least a couple times last year where I had a meaningless buzzer beater that didn't affect the actual outcome of the game, but got me a bet. So losing one of those isn't. It's not gonna. It's not gonna ruin my day or week, because I know that those probably are gonna swing my way at some point here, especially in the NBA and basketball is concerned. So. Yeah, you got to keep a level head, I guess, is the MO of this message, I would say.
So tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock my time, 10 o'clock your time, we're going to do the Big Ten review. Short slate. Maybe we'll throw in a couple curveballs as well. 12:30, Zaid Hussein, UFC. Unsure what's going on in the afternoon as I'm getting lambasted here by text. Mr. Lucky, miscommunication, 4 o'clock, the normal time, 1 o'clock his time. He thought it was 4 o'clock his time tonight, which I'll be out of the office for that hour, but it is what it is. I want everyone to enjoy all the action tonight. Pick your spots. That's all. And take it with a grain of salt. You win, you win. You lose, you lose. You just turn the page. You get up in the morning. Your feet hit the ground. That means you got another shot. You got 24 hours to make a difference. It's a gift. Use it correctly, okay? So for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one and only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one, we wish everyone a blessed evening. Have some fun. Enjoy the equinox, and we'll see you bright and early in the morning.